really need to talk about it, so let's go dive in. So, if you don't know, Empire of Storms is the 5th book in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas, and I have every Sarah J Maas book right here. This book was amazing. I gave it 5 stars. I didn't think I was going to give it 5 stars about halfway through, even a little bit more than halfway through, but by the end, it deserved it. If you have not read the first 4 Throne of Glass books, go do that. In a nutshell, it's about a girl who was this notorious assassin and captured and sent into slavery, but now she's taken to fight in this contest to be the king's assassin, and she's the prince's choice to do that. And the reason I'm having trouble saying this is because the story has gone so far away from what the first one is, and in a good way, that it's weird to talk about the first book because that's not what the series is about at all anymore. But the series is great. Again, if you haven't read the first 4, I can't say any more without giving something away. So go read the series right now. Do it. You should have already done it. What are you waiting for? Go now. Okay? Okay? Are you gone? Okay. So for those of you that have read the first 4 books in this series, in Empire of Storms, Aelin is ready to claim her crown, but the crown isn't really ready to claim her. So she hits some complications, and her group of people, including Dorian and Rowan and Lysandra and Adian, and I'm probably pronouncing all of these names incorrectly because Sarah J Maas is not nice to her readers when it comes to names. Oh, and Manon is around. It still follows all of those people. Elide, who we met in the last book, and they have to do things because Erwin is around, and he's gaining power, and he wants to attack, and they have to stop him. At one point, I thought the romance was kind of taking over the story a little bit too much, and that was my one big complaint. Somewhere in the middle, it became more about the romance than the war happening in the world, but it completely made up for it by the end of the book, and it earned those 5 stars. It's probably like 4.7-ish, but I have no problem rounding up because this book was phenomenal. So if you have not read it yet, now is your time to go away so I can get into spoilers, okay? Okay, bye. The first thing I want to say is Sarah J Maas is evil. She's wonderful, and she is evil in so many ways. But I'm not going to get into the ending yet, which is where she's mostly evil. I'm going to try not to talk about too much of the actual plot because I have so many fangirl type things I want to talk about in this one, and I don't want it to be a 40-minute video, which it will be if I go through the entire plot. So I'm just going to talk about some key things. First of all, chapter 38 was not a chapter from a YA book. I don't understand how this is still YA. The first book I talked about on BookTube was A Court of Mist and Fury, which was the second book in Sarah J Maas' other series, the ACOMAF series. And in that one, I talked about the fact that I don't really read new adult for a specific reason. This one didn't seem like YA for that same reason, and I don't know if it's just like Sarah J Maas is now used to having more freedom when it comes to certain types of scenes, but there were certain things where I'm like, I don't really want middle school kids reading this. I don't know. Moving on from there. The other thing I want to talk about, there are a lot of things I want to talk about. One other thing I want to talk about is the way Sarah J Maas somehow introduces a character in one book in a way where you're like, okay, I think I kind of like this character. I don't really care about them though. I don't care about them as much as the other ones. In the third one, it was Manon, where we were seeing her scenes, and I was like, why are we seeing this witch that I don't care about and has nothing to do with anything? And then in the fourth book, I was like, oh my gosh, I love Manon so much. And then also in the fourth book, you were introduced to Alide, where you're like, why are we seeing this person? I don't care about her at all. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, I love this person a lot. And in this one, I think it was Lorcan. I think I was actually starting to like him more toward, well no, you always start to like them towards the end of that first book. But in this one it was Lorcan, where at the beginning I was like, why are we following Lorcan? I know I don't like him. But by the end of the book, I was rooting for him in Alide, and I could completely understand where he was coming from, and I think he's going to play a really important role in the final book of the series, which I'll talk about that later. Along the same lines of what I was saying before is the couples that she does, because there are huge couple wars when it comes to this series. For a long time, everybody was either Team Dorian or Team Kale. I never got on the Team Kale train. I was a ride or die with Dorian. And another thing Sarah J Maas has managed to do is make me almost forget that Aelin, Selena, whatever you want to call her, and Dorian were ever even really together. Even though that was my OTP for this series, and I was so mad in the fourth one when it seemed like Rowan was heading towards endgame. I was like, no, it's still going to be Dorian. It's still going to be Dorian. And then come this book, I was like, Dorian who? Like, oh, they're cute best friends. I love them being friends and allies and working together, but, you know, there's nothing between them at all, clearly. Dorian's all for Madden, which I did see coming in the last one, but I think everybody did. And Aelin and Rowan were always meant to be, clearly. And I, like, forgot that I was completely 100% on Team Dorian and Selena. But I guess I can still ship Dorian and Selena as long as I'm shipping Rowan and Aelin. Right? Along the same lines, one complaint I do have is for a lot of this book, Dorian all but disappeared. He was there, but he wasn't super important to the story. He was just kind of there. I mean, you could see him falling for Manon, and that was great to see, but he wasn't a huge part of the plot until the end of the book. At the end of the book, he suddenly was, and he started figuring things out, and you see him stepping into his own, and I think he's going to play a much bigger part in the final book, because he's the one that's going to go after the final key. So I see him really stepping up and being a big role in the final one. Similarly, about halfway through this book, I suddenly realized that Kale wasn't in it. Like, he was mentioned a couple times, but he was one of the original three. He was one of the three that was there from the beginning as the main characters, and he just wasn't in this book at all. And I was like, should I be worried? The last time we saw him, he almost died. And he was going off to be saved and to gather help. But he literally wasn't in this book at all, when we were used to seeing a lot through his eyes. And that was strange, and what was more strange is that I barely even noticed. And I don't know if that's because I was never really Team Kale, or just because it was written so well and there was so much going on in the book that it didn't matter, but it was kind of weird. I do think he'll show up in the next one. He probably did gather resources and all of that. I feel like I just want to talk about the end, because so much happened in those last 50 pages, even less than that. The weird thing is there were so many times throughout the series where you think they're lost, and then it turns out, bam, Aelin had a plan. So you expect that to happen at the end when Maeve is there, but it doesn't. She's just taken. Oh, that scene. Oh my god, that scene was so painful. When they're like whipping her and Manon is standing there, and I'm like, there has to be a reason that Manon isn't doing anything about it. And you're like, is it because she thinks that Aelin's trapping Maeve? Or is there something else? And then of course we find out that it's because she had the keys, so she couldn't draw any attention to herself. But Alide is sitting there begging Manon to do something and begging Lorcan to do something, and they can't. Lorcan because he's physically incapable of it, and Manon because she will cause more issues for the entire world if she steps in. And that was so painful. And then I think Maeve was really stupid to let Aedian's father and Lorcan out of the Blood Oath. Obviously, they're just gonna go join Aelin's cause now. Although, I guess she knows that they can't swear another Blood Oath to Aelin because, you know, she has Aelin. But they can still help her. And I get why she did it, because she thought that that's what would be the most hurtful to their egos. But in a way, I think they're gonna figure out it was a blessing, because now they're with a group of people that's much better than her. One of the things that had a huge reaction is the moment Manon lets Dorian go, and you saw at the end of the 4th book that there was going to be something between them. So that was a nice moment. And then when she is getting in trouble and they're like, okay, yeah, you should live, but we're gonna kill Asterin. I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen, no. And then it almost does, but Manon fights her grandmother instead, and I loved that scene. And obviously Asterin wasn't dead. I've said it before, and I will say it in every single YA book where they claim somebody's dead that you didn't see die. Nobody in a YA book is dead unless you see them die. Even then, sometimes they're not dead. But if you don't see their death scene, they are not dead. They're just not dead. So Asterin wasn't dead. Lo and behold, come the end, Asterin is leading the 13 to come to the rescue and help them. I'm surprised that she was willing to join the fight when Manon wasn't there. But I guess she trusted Abraxas enough and knew that Abraxas would never lead them to help people that weren't with Manon. I do have to say, the moment we find out that Aelin was supposed to die this whole time, it was a very chapter 32 of Deathly Hallows moment, where you notice that she's been moving towards her own death this whole time, and she needs to willingly give herself up. And I'm confident that, like Harry Potter, she's not going to end up dying, and neither is Dorian. At least I hope that, oh my gosh. There's one more book. People can die. Like, important people can die in the last book of a series, but now that they're all coupled off though, and they're all like kings and queens, they can't die. Manon and Dorian are together now, and they're each, like, Manon's clearly going to become the queen of the witches because she already has led the Iron Teeth witches, and they're giving her the queen symbol now. And she is the Crocian queen as long as they recognize her. So she's going to be the queen of the witches, and they can't kill the queen of the witches who's that awesome. Especially because of her blood, there's nobody else that can take over. And then Dorian has to be there for Ardalan, so neither of them can die, right? And then Aelin can't die. She just can't. I know she's supposed to, but she can't. There's going to be some way that she can't, and it might be Harry Potter-ish, where she needed to go in thinking she would die in order to survive. I don't know, but she can't die. It's not possible. Or maybe she'll be on the brink of death, but it turns out she was so powerful that she was able to come back, or because Rowan was there by her side, he's able to, like, bring her back from the brink of death. I don't know, but there's going to be some way that she's not going to die, I think. I hope. I'm scared. I'm terrified. But I don't know, like, Alide and Lorcan are together now, or they will be once she forgives him for selling them out for her. He really has everything backwards. He's like, I'm doing this for the queen, even though she wants me killed for it. And I'm doing this for Alide, even though it's what will lead towards her almost death and her queen being taken. And he just makes poor choices for the people he cares about. There was the secret wedding, and that goes with her knowing that she was going to die, where she set it up so that Terrasen would have a king in Rowan. And oh my gosh, the stuff with Lysandra. She was going to have Lysandra pretend to be her for the rest of her life so that the people thought that their queen was there. I don't understand how that would happen because, like, yeah, Lysandra could look like her, but if they ever needed her firepower, would they just pretend that she burned out in the war and didn't have that power anymore? Or, I don't know, but then Lysandra was going to be with Aedion behind the scenes. Lucky for them that the two of them were falling for each other, because that would have been awkward if Aedion was like, but I'm in love with Manon, or something like that. But that way the babies could look like they were in that family, but then they wouldn't look like Rowan. I don't know, it would be weird. The last thing I commented about as I was reading was when Manon gives Dorian the keys, does that mean that she's saying that he should now go sacrifice himself? Because I have a feeling she might change her mind about that when she realizes that she's in love with him. I mean, she realizes that it's a sacrifice that needs to be made. Someone needs to give somewhere. But I think that's what she was saying. But that's kind of strange. There's one thing I'm confused about. I don't understand the point of Maeve. I was going to say I don't understand the point of Maeve giving Rowan the fake mate. But then I remembered it was because she wanted him to have the blood oath to her, and that made it easier. And she was pulling them together because she needed them to meet so that she could then get the keys from Aelin. I guess Aelin was supposed to willingly give over the keys for Rowan, but she never asked for that, or I guess she couldn't at the time. I don't know. That part confused me a little bit, and how long Maeve was planning that was just insane, and to the depth that she went for it. Poor Rowan, thinking that he had found and lost his mate when this innocent woman was just set up to think they were mates to then be killed, when all along the plan was for him to just find his true mate later. That was bad. That was awful. And the fact that he resisted knowing because of guilt. Ugh, that was painful. This book was really good, and that ending was evil. And obviously they were going to go after Aelin. Nobody was going to leave her behind, but I like that they are following her plan, because by the time all of those people came, they weren't going to stay unless Aelin was there. They weren't going to gather behind Rowan and Lysandra and Aedion. They needed Aelin because she was the one that gathered everybody together. She was the one that called in a bunch of life favors, and they were there to help her. And yeah, they're still helping her even if she's not there, but it's not the same. So in order to keep everybody, Lysandra stuck to the plan with Aelin and is pretending to be her, but meanwhile, Rowan and his cadre, or the people he can work with in his cadre, are heading off. And we know Fenris is going to be leaving clues, knowing that they're coming. I don't know, I think there's going to be a big battle where they are forced to fight him. But Maeve was also kind of stupid to keep him when she got rid of the ones that actually wanted to be loyal to her and kept the one that was going to try to disobey her in any way that he could. Which I get that she was trying to torture all of them by doing that, but I think it's going to stab her in the back, and that's great. A lot has to happen in this last book. It is going to be insane. Lysandra as Aelin needs to step up and take the throne and be like, hey, guess what, guys? I gathered all these people. You told me to gather allies. Check this out. Move out of my throne. And step up. And then the real Aelin, I'm sure we're going to see her being tortured. And Chaol needs to come with more supporters because it was weird that he wasn't in this book at all. But he will come back. And Dorian has to go find the last key, and I'm sure he's going to have to be up against some of the others doing that too. And then everybody's off saving Aelin. And that book is going to be insane. I don't know how I'm going to survive it, but I will manage. I think that's all I really wanted to talk about. I know I usually go through the entire plot of a book, and I might hate that I didn't because now I can't rewatch this video to remember exactly what happened in it before the next one comes out, but I'm thinking I'll remember most of it anyway because this book was intense. And I can't wait for the next one in this series, the last book, and I can't wait for the next in Sarah J Maas's ACOMAF series, which will be the next book that comes out. That's all I got right now. I'll be talking at you next time. Bye! This book looks really thin, but it's not. It has those like super skinny pages that it feels like tissue paper, where you think you're gonna rip every single page as you turn it. Luckily, I haven't ripped any, knock on book. This book is really good, guys. Uh-oh. It's not gonna fit. Time to rearrange my bookshelf.